it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, November 20th. So today we have the moon moving out of her rulership in Cancer energy, going void, of course, at 6:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're locking into Leo energy at 8:51 a.m. Again, Eastern Standard Time. So this is going to be a welcome shift. It always is, because when the moon is in her rulership in Cancer energy, we're introverted, we're hella defensive, we're hella protective over what we've built, what we've created. There's a resistance, if you will, to letting certain things go. We're overly attached to the past. We're hella emotional, super sensitive, and again, kind of just focused on holding on to the old. We romanticize the past. We kind of get up in the nostalgia, trying to convince ourselves that we don't have to change, that we don't have to grow, that we don't have to evolve. And again, there is just this element where we're trying to stick to what is tried, tested, and true. The moon in Leo, on the other hand, is extroverted. We're coming out of our crab-like shell in that Cancer energy. We want to connect. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to take center stage. The Leo energy, being the heart and soul of the zodiac, definitely gets us in touch with our heart and soul, with what it is that we need to do, what we need to pursue, what we need to express. And again, this new version of self definitely coming online. This is the last day of Scorpio season. This is the Phoenix rising energy. We just had Pluto move into Aquarius energy here yesterday. So the whole vibe has definitely changed. The moon in Leo definitely going to help us kind of see things from a different set of eyes, operate from our heart space, and really get down to the nitty gritty on what needs to be done. There's a new creative energy kind of sparking within us. We are definitely going to see things, I'm going to say, from a more authentic lens, meaning we're not as judgmental. We're not as connected to the past. We're not as timid or introverted, which means that we're ready to bust out and do the things that need to be done in order for us to move on and move forward. And like I previously mentioned, this is the last day of Scorpio season. So that means that there are going to be moments that are so overwhelming, so intense. We have the sun at the final degrees of the Scorpio energy, which is basically wrapping up what has been a very deep, very dark, very transformative Scorpio season, pushing us into this newest version of self. With all of that being said, there are 12 different aspects popping off here today. 11 of them are going to involve the moon. Before we get into any moon aspects, we have Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, in this Capricorn energy, making a very awkward interaction with Uranus, the great awakener, who of course is retrograde in Taurus energy. Again, Venus rules over the Taurus energy that Uranus is currently retrograde in, and Uranus's whole point of being retrograde in this Taurus energy is to illuminate for us where it is that we have some attachments to the physical realm, to what it is that we've been doing, what we've built, what we've created, where routines, relationships, money matters are concerned. The whole point is to illuminate where it is that we're so fixated on trying to keep things the same that we don't have a chance to spice things up, to do anything differently, and therefore we're not growing, we're not evolving. Venus interacting with Uranus in this way, definitely going to turn the volume up on how uncomfortable we actually are in the present moment. The level of discontentment that we currently have with our relationship dynamics, with our happiness, with our joy, with our pleasures, with our downtime. Again, the Uranian energy going to give a little bit of a jolt to the central nervous system. So anxiety, restlessness, if you will. We are in the heart space with Venus, trying to figure out what it is that we want for the long term. We are in Capricorn energy, mind you. So this is going to be a little bit of a serious, somber energy for us to realize what it is that we're not happy with, what it is that we could really, really use a change with in order for us to have a little bit more success in our long term with having daily happiness, joy, pleasure, and downtime. So although it probably isn't going to feel good, it is going to put us in a situation where we're not really happy about things, where we are reaching a breaking point. But that in itself is a huge realization. What needs to end? What needs to die? Again, we are in the final degrees of Scorpio season. The moon, still in her rulership in Cancer energy, going to make a positive interaction with Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information communication, how it is that we express ourselves, who is currently in Sagittarius energy, but slowing down by the day. We are in the pre-retrograde shadow period. We will be full-blown retrograde here on the 25th. And so, we are seeing a little bit of a lag time in our thought processes. We are seeing a little bit of misunderstanding and miscommunications in our energy exchanges. And, lucky for us, this is a positive interaction. The moon is our heart space. Mercury is our head space. They're working together to think a little bit futuristically. Thank you, Mercury and Sag. And again, because we're nearing the final degrees of the moon being in her rulership and Cancer energy, we're not as attached to the past as we were just a couple of days ago. We're giving ourselves permission, if you will, to think about what it is that we want to change, what we want to transform, what we want to do differently, what we could do to create more of an emotional safety, security, and stability within us. Now, if you find yourself in situations where we're having some heart-to-hearts, there could be some sensitive topics and themes that come up. We just want to watch our tone. I'm not saying, bite your lips. We're definitely in a good situation to kind of, have these particular conversations. But with Mercury, in the Sag energy, we don't have a filter. We are very straightforward, very blunt. We're not sugarcoating anything. And the high sensitivity that we are all in because of the moon in her rulership could mean that we take things to heart, that we kind of take things in the wrong way, that we get a little bit butthurt over what other people are trying to communicate to us. So just a little bit of a cautionary tale. We do have to be very, very mindful of our tone, of the words that we're using, of our approach and our delivery, especially with some sensitive topics and themes. The moon in Cancer energy then going to trine, which is a beautiful interaction, with Neptune, who of course is retrograde in his rulership in this Pisces energy. This is water on water action. We love this because it's cleansing, it's purifying the gunk, the junk that we've been kind of, bringing to the surface of our awareness through the Scorpio season. We have to identify the darkness in order to turn it into light. This water energy, after it cleanses and purifies us, it refreshes our soul and our spirit. It strengthens our emotions, our intuition to our higher self. It reminds us of the goal, the vision, the dream that we are working so freaking hard to actually manifest. And it's just kind of restoring, renewing, and refreshing a little bit of hope, a little bit of trust in the greater, grander plan. The moon is then going to make an awkward interaction with Saturn. Saturn, of course, is in this Pisces energy as well. And so there is this element, although it isn't a trine, it is still water on water action. Now, this is going to bring up a little bit, let's call it murky water, because of course, Saturn gives us a little bit of a reality check. He wants to kind of keep us in check to realize what it is that we've been holding on to that we need to let go of in order to clear the space for us to build something new. Again, with Saturn now direct in this Pisces energy, we have what it takes to have more willpower, more discipline, more determination to actually do the hard things. And so, yes, we may be a little bit uncomfortable. Yes, we may be hella defensive, hella aggressive towards the changes that we know that we need to make. But emotionally speaking, we are getting a little bit more tunnel vision, more focused on at least what it is that we need to close the door upon, what it is that we have to remove out of our way so that we can get hyper focused on inviting in the new. 6:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon is going to trine the sun. The sun, of course, in the final degrees of Scorpio energy, the moon in the final degrees of Cancer energy. This is a trine. This is water on water action. We are definitely going to feel refreshed and rejuvenated from this particular interaction. But anytime that the sun and the moon are coming together, there's going to be an aha moment on our wants, on our needs, on what it is that we desire, what it is that isn't working, what it is that is blocking us from actually feeling the safety, security, and stability in our emotions and in our physical realm that we want, that we need, that we desire, that we deserve. And so the sun shining very, very brightly in the Scorpio energy, again, pushing for change, pushing for transformation, but we're in the Phoenix rising part of Scorpio energy now, which means that we are feeling empowered. We're feeling empowered enough to let the connection to the old go. We're feeling empowered enough to not let the fears, the doubts, the insecurities, the uncertainties of what could be to hold us back from letting go of the uncomfortability of what currently is. 6:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon is going void, of course. Things get shaky, things get unstable, things get uncertain at that time. But again, luckily for us, it's just a short window of time. We're locking into the Leo energy at 8:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are 1 minute into the moon being in Leo energy. And what are we going to do? We're going to directly oppose and sit across from Mr. Pluto, fresh in this Aquarius energy permanently now until 2044. If you haven't listened to the Pluto and Aquarius astro forecast, I'm going to recommend you do so. If you haven't busted out your November energy guide to capture what's going on for you for this particular transition, I'm going to recommend you do that. And there is a Pluto in Aquarius astro class on my Patreon. For my Patreons, of course, you can access that whenever it is that you have the time to sit through it. It is like an hour and a half full of information and how, it actually impacts your chart. Or if you're not a Patreon member, you can go and pay per view. I'm definitely going to recommend that you do the work. So the moon now sitting across from Mr. Pluto, definitely going to create some tension. However, this opposition, although it can be challenging, although it can be triggering, although it can be activating certain parts within us, it is definitely going to help us get in touch with what it is that we actually need. It's going to happen in a very intense way. It's going to happen likely in a dark way, meaning that we're going to figure out what it is that we need by likely figuring out what it is that we don't need. And it's going to be very intense, very in our faces, very much activating our heart space. And especially where there's this intensity building, this is going to illuminate our personal relationships. This is going to illuminate our actual wants, needs, and desires that we feel blocked and restricted from actually going after. And it's going to highlight where we're kind of at war within ourselves. This is going to highlight the inner turmoil, if you will. And it's definitely going to rattle us up in order to see, again, what we need to collapse, what we need to rebel against, what we need to move away from, and where it is that we need to restructure what it is that makes us happy, what it is that makes us feel safe and secure, what it is that we need to do to fully express our new wants, needs, and desires. The moon is then going to sit in that particular energy until 3:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The moon is then going to semi-square, create a little bit of tension and conflict with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings, who is retrograde in Gemini energy. This probably isn't going to feel good either because, of course, Jupiter turns the volume all the way up on what we're thinking, what we're feeling. He magnifies the situation that we're currently sitting in. And Jupiter's retrograde in this Gemini energy has us reflecting back to tough love life lessons that we've already gone through, information, wisdom, and knowledge that we had to learn the hard way in order to illuminate where it is that we know better. but we're not actually doing better. And where it is that we kind of get out of our own damn way and start integrating the information, wisdom, and knowledge that we've already accumulated. Because Jupiter usually brings optimism, usually brings hype, usually brings confidence in a positive way, this is not going to be any of that. This is a semi-square. We are not aspecting Mr. Jupiter in a good way, so we're actually confused. We're not feeling the want, need, or desire to grow. We're not feeling confident. We're not feeling optimistic at all. The Gemini energy, of course, represents the mental plane, very much in a divided situation because, again, Gemini energy represented by the twins. And although we are all up in our heart space, we're hella sensitive. There is this restlessness, this eagerness to kind of get the show on the road, if you will. And our mind is kind of at our heart space at this particular juncture. We're not on the same page at all. And of course, if our heart and our head aren't on the same page, we cannot engage the physical body to take actions to make moves in any kind of way. Speaking about making moves, 5:15 p.m., again, Eastern Standard Time, the moon in this Leo energy coming up to, bumping into, teaming up with, conjuncting Mars. Mars is the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger. He is in this Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac. He is moving further away from the opposition with Mr. Pluto, which means that here soon, just in a couple of days, we're going to be gifted with the green light go ahead to get off the bench, to get back in the game, to make some major, big, bold, courageous types of moves before Mars goes retrograde early December. So a conjunction is just as much of an ending as it is a beginning. And lucky for us, this is hype, right? Leo energy, we're ready to go. We're ready to realize what our heart wants, needs, and desires, and we're ready to do something with it. Although Mars can't fully engage in the actions and the moves that he wants to take part in, this is definitely going to wake us up to what we're actually passionate about, what we actually want for ourselves, what we actually desire. Now, we do have to kind of pull the reins in a little bit. This is going to fester up a lot of restlessness, a lot of impulsivity that, again, we have to resist at all costs because we're not gifted with the kind of encouragement, the kind of support at this particular time to make the major moves that, of course, we want to make, we want to take. We just have to put on pause for a little minute. We do have the moon in Leo energy trining, beautiful interaction with that North Node in Aries energy. The North Node is trying to get us on the right path, trying to get us in alignment with our soul's mission, with our soul's purpose and potential. And of course, this trine means that we are working with like-minded elements. Leo energy, a fixed fire sign, Aries energy, a cardinal fire sign, and fire on fire action is a beautiful thing. It helps to burn away the cords of attachment to the past. It helps to kind of burn away all of the emotion that we have been sitting in, and it reignites a fire, a spark, a flame in our heart space and under our ass in order to actually get our shit together, to get focused on what we want to do. So that North Node is showing us where we have the opportunity, the option, if you will, to make moves, to grow, to heal, to evolve, to do better, to be better. And because we are kind of tapping into the pride of the lion right now, we are feeling like we are untouchable, like we have what it takes, we can do what we need to do. Nothing is going to stop us from getting what it is that we want. The moon in Leo energy then going to make an awkward interaction with Mercury. Mercury in Sag energy. Yes, this is fire on fire action, but it's not in the best kind of way. And so fire energy, when aspected in not the nicest way, well, it's going to light some things on fire. It can burn some things down. Again, the moon is our heart space. Mercury is our head space. They're not really on the same page. They're trying to be on the same page, but they're not there yet. Mercury in the Sag energy is very futuristically focused, but the Leo energy, although very excited about future goals, visions, and dreams, is more connected to what do we have power and control over in this present moment, in the here and now? What do I desire in the short term, even though I know and I'm piecing together what it is that I want in the long term? It's almost like we don't have enough patience right now to kind of, see the particular process through to get to that end goal, vision, and dream. We want a little bit of satisfaction in this present moment. And emotionally speaking, we just want to figure out what we're passionate about, the moves that need to be made, the path that needs to be kind of pursued to not only give us some satisfaction, some energy, some passion in this present moment, but also setting us up for futuristic visions, goals, and dreams. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, in this Pisces energy. I actually love this interaction because it means that we're getting a little bit organized in our emotional realm. We're sorting through and processing, again, what it is that we want, what we need, what we desire, what we deserve. Saturn in this Pisces energy, again, we are kind of focused on removing the limiting belief system, the false sense of belief, if you will. We are getting rid of the limitations that we are telling ourselves are going to hold us back, that are going to prevent us from being happy. What I love about this is that the Pisces energy is very intuitive, giving us a goal, a vision, a dream that we're hella excited about. The moon, of course, in Leo energy, activating that heart space, kind of creating enough emotion to back this particular vision, because those are the first steps in manifesting. I just love it because it gives us a little bit more of a focused energy on getting organized with what it is that our heart 100% needs us to do, needs us to pursue. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in this Leo energy making a very positive interaction with Uranus, the Great Awakener, who is retrograde in Taurus energy. So again, Uranus being retrograde in this Taurus energy is supposed to be highlighting for us where it is that we're overly attached to the old, where we still have some serious attachments to what we've built and created, what we've previously brought to life as the old version of self that, again, we've outgrown, we have no resonance with whatsoever, but yet we just can't seem to let go. What I love about this is that, Uranus brings a positive perspective. And once you know, you can't unknow. And he brings a spontaneous goal, vision, dream, download. There's something going on, acting as the observer, where we have new insights, we have a new understanding, we have a new perspective. And the moon in this Leo energy is down with it. We are getting fueled by the fire in our heart space, by our passions, by our desires. And as we kind of grow a little bit more excited about what is to come, it makes it so much easier to let go of the old. So this is definitely going to be a zap to our head space, to our heart space, putting us in a different perspective, a different mind frame to realize where it is that, again, we're holding on to dead weight. We got to free up our hands to start creating the realm and reality of our future vision, goals, and dreams.